Hello and welcome to episode 97 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Darby Hallman.
I am Jeff, man.
Jeff, how are you doing this fine Saturday?
I'm doing pretty good, Darby. How about you?
I am doing all right. A little tired, like I told you, bringing a little weird energy to this podcast. But Jeff, I have to be all right because Final Fantasy VII has reemerged into our lives after 3 freaking years. The Final Fantasy VII Remake. We have a new trailer. We're going to talk about it. I'm stoked. It looks great. You can go watch our live reactions to the State of Play where it was revealed. Sorry if you're hearing a cat meow. We have a third guest. Sorry, this is our third guest, Caesar. Mm-hmm. He has a lot of opinions on video games. He's a super big Ghost Recon fan, so that's why we brought him on here.
Yeah.
Because there's new Ghost Recon news as well. And now our views are going to skyrocket.
Yep.
We're also, just to let you know, we are going to talk about Detective Pikachu at the end of this podcast. That's going to be our main topic. I figure we can do like part spoiler-free, part spoiler-filled. Yeah. Kind of like how we do with our Spoilercast. So, look forward to that as well. Well, Jeff, I don't think either of us really have anything of note to talk about that we played this week. So why don't we get straight into the news jingle.
Jingle, 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 Darby.
What are we starting off with, Jeff?
State of Play, Darby.
State of Play number 2.
Yes, like Darby said, we did our little live reaction things to the 10-minute long State of Play.
Just a brisk, just in and out, 10 minutes.
Yep.
This is what we're kind of like slowly learning what State of Play is. And it's like between the two of them, we're like, okay, they're willing to make it short with just a shorter amount of games, you know.
Yep.
It'll be interesting. If Caesar gets too distracted, I could just take him away. you start.
Okay, so yeah, we'll just start by going in order and see where the conversation take us. I guess we start by saying how they announced this thing. They announced it on Monday. It was on Thursday, so doing the whole Nintendo Direct thing of, hey, we're announcing it a couple days early or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's more and more like Nintendo Directs, which I am definitely A-okay with.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so
hold on. Pause your stop thing. Okay. Hey, sorry. See, Caesar's guest appearance was cut short because he's a little too annoying. Jeff, State of Play.
State of Play, Darby.
Yeah. So we got 10 minutes, just a handful of games. We're gonna just kind of run through. Like I think the easiest way would just be run through everything that was happening, and then let's just talk about it as a whole. Which means mostly Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah. Okay, well, first thing. Monster Hunter World Iceborne is how they started out. They showed a trailer, which was probably the most they showed of one individual game. I think it's safe to assume.
Yeah.
Which was a surprise, especially since there was going to be a stream right afterwards going over this stuff, which, they promoted in the thing like, hey, right after this, check out the kind of official whatever stream.
Yeah.
So they announced the release date, September 6th, which for PS4 and Xbox One, which is earlier than we were thinking based on what they said earlier. We were thinking more like at least October.
Yeah, usually when these people say fall or spring, they mean like later in those things.
That's what we're conditioned
actually very early.
Yeah. Also, they Iceborne will be coming to PC in the winter of this year, so they're getting it later.
Yeah.
So look dope.
Yeah. Okay, I guess we can talk about it.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we'll talk about it piece by piece. I mean, it's fine either way. Yeah, I think it looked really, really cool. I like the setting. Looks very different from Monster Hunter, like the snowy setting. Mm-hmm. At least from all the settings that we've seen in the game thus far, which I think we've seen most of them. But yeah, this looks very different. From everything they're talking about, it seems like this is almost like a new game worth of content. Which they are charging $40 for it. So I would hope that it would feel like it would feel a substantial, which I'm not too worried about it. Like, everything they've shown, it seems crazy. I hope that we can even remotely get close to the end game by the time this comes out. There's just a lot of Monster Hunter to play.
Indeed.
But I'm glad they're continuing to support this. I mean, it makes sense since Monster Hunter World is the top selling Capcom game of all time.
We'll get to those numbers later.
Yeah.
Got a little update.
Yeah. So this makes sense. And I think, like I said, it looks cool.
Yep. Okay. Next game they showed was Riverbond, a voxel shoot and slash dungeon crawler. It will release this summer on PS4. The game has a plethora of indie crossover skins. Some of the games include skins of Shovel Knight, Psychonauts, Guacamelee, Into the Gungeon, and many more. And I read the PlayStation blog thing. They showed 8 during the thing. It made it sound like they're going to be more hidden in the game.
Ah, okay. Cool.
So lots of little things.
Yeah, this it looked. I like the art style of it, the multiplayer aspect. Like it looks like it could be a fun little game for you to play with friends as long as it's cheap.
I imagine it will be.
Yeah, I would hope so. Like Minecraft mixed with dungeon crawlers stuff.
Yep. And next thing, which was as far as new game announcement, the bigger one for sure. Yeah. This Predator Hunting Grounds was announced. It is an asymmetrical online multiplayer game. It will launch exclusively on PS4 because it is a Sony, Worldwide Studios game, technically. Yeah, launch on PS4 exclusively next year. And it's being developed by Ilphonic. Developers are Friday the 13th.
Yeah, which me and Jeff, when we did our reactions, we were not aware of this. I didn't know the name of the studio. Yeah. So I didn't know it was the Friday the 13th people, which does put this in a new interesting light because it definitely they didn't show gameplay, but you just assume it's going to be you're a bunch of some people are playing the soldiers, one person's playing the Predator, and you're trying to take it down, almost like Evolve from 2013 or whenever that was. And obviously that's kind of a similar concept to Friday the 13th also. And I think it's kind of exciting that they got it. Obviously Friday the 13th had a lot of problems, but I think a lot of that was it was a small studio that just was not prepared for the popularity that Friday. Yeah, and they also kind of got and there was definitely a good core to Friday the 13th, even despite its problems. And they kind of got completely screwed by the Friday the 13th lawsuit.
Yeah.
So now they just can't even update this game that was really popular. So I'm glad they got another big license, and the fact that it's a PS4 exclusive makes me feel like they're getting Sony's backing.
Yeah. So just kind of add on to it, like I said, for the licensing thing, they mentioned in partnership with 20th Century Fox. So that means, hey, they're all in on this. There's going to be none of that whole Friday the 13th licensing weirdness. They're all, like you said, this is exclusive. So not necessarily just because, that means it's on one platform, so they can focus on that, which will hopefully make it, run better and all that kind of stuff. They have a focus. Also, it means that it's in, Sony Worldwide Studios, technically. That's how they marketed it as. They get Sony's money, financial backing as well,
and marketing,
and So
yeah, basically, it's not a slam dunk. Obviously, Friday the 13th had problems. This might have problems, but I think things are lined up way better for them this time.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised, really. That I know. Yeah, Friday the 13th was popular and not the most well-known thing, I guess, to the general public. I don't know.
I remember it doing surprisingly big numbers.
Yeah, I agree.
Every single time it had sales, it was Friday the 13th is still up there.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they didn't mention. I know they mentioned Ilphonic, but I'm surprised they didn't throw in the whole developers of Friday the 13th.
Yeah, because I think we would have had a different reaction to that if we knew. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So.
It is still a game that, I wish we could have seen gameplay for it. But
there are a couple screens on the PlayStation blog that don't really show much of anything. Just kind of looks like more of where the game will look.
Conceptually, I'm down. The Predator already basically feels like a video game character. The moves he could do, turning invisible and the heat-seeking stuff, all of that seems like it would just correlate very easily to a video game.
Oh, yeah, and like we were saying, as far as it looking sort of sounding like Evolve and Friday the 13th, Predator fits perfectly in that mold as far as being the one bad guy that a group of other people are hunting or whatever.
And then just wait and a year down the line when they have the Xenomorph DLC, the Aliens vs. Predator stuff. Totally. You could totally do that. Yeah. That'd be awesome.
So, I guess this Predator game might be one of the PS4 swan songs.
Optimistic. Obviously, we, this might not be as good as we think, but
the potential and everything is there.
Yeah, it could be a fun multiplayer game for sure.
Yeah. And next thing was what they were saying were going to be a focus of this state of play, Medieval. The Medieval.
Ironically, this is the thing they were advertising state of play for, but it got one of the least amount of times probably. Yeah, but it was a cool trailer. It was kind of one of those it was a short trailer, but there was a lot in it. It like cut, it was one of those like you could just watch this one trailer and you couldn't have seen the other ones and you'd be fine. It's just going to show you a lot.
Yeah,
and the release date.
October 25th, which makes sense. It's right before Halloween.
Yep. Yeah. I guess there's a good time when that's concerned, but like right now there's not much, but there's gonna be a lot of big games in October. Like I do feel like Medieval is gonna get drowned out. I felt like it was probably gonna get drowned out no matter what.
Yeah, Medieval doesn't have the same notoriety as Crash and Spyro did, so this game was never gonna sell as much as those, unfortunately. Yeah. But what helps is kind of like those games. This is a $30 game. So
yeah,
which helps.
Makes us a lot more likely to buy it, and a lot of people. And hopefully Sony knows that. Hopefully, I mean, I have to imagine it has like a less budget than Crash.
Oh, 100%.
Which was especially Crash doing 3 different games. Yeah. This is doing 1. I would hope so, but it looks like it got the same amount of like care and love as Crash did. Like it looks like that same modern treatment. It kind of has a similar art style than the Insane Trilogy.
Yep.
And it looks good,
Yep.
Yeah. So it's definitely our kind of game. I'm interested.
Yep. Next game, Away, the survival series is coming to PS4. You play as a sugar glider and survive everything from snakes to fire tornadoes.
Did we see fire tornadoes?
We 100% saw a fire tornado.
Okay, I kind of forgot about that.
Tornado of fire.
Jeff, I had Final Fantasy VII on the brain that entire state of play. This didn't do anything for me. I don't know about you. I mean, it looked weird. I saw other people were really excited. And I'm like, okay, good for you. But
who doesn't want to play the sugar glider?
It looked weird. That's about all I can say about that.
I know the animals are different, but if I was going to be that, I can't remember the name of it. I was thinking it was going to transition to that game from the old Rare devs for some reason.
Which game?
I'm forgetting the name. The one I talked about a couple weeks ago with you play as like a monkey or some shit, and it's supposed to be like an old platformer.
I don't, but if I saw it, I'm an old man. I forget things easily. I just saw it. I was like, I made the joke about super gritty, hyper realistic Sly Cooperness.
Yeah. This is it. Then they showed a kind of, can't remember the name. I don't know, something. They showed a new PS4 that's
Days of Play.
Yeah, Days of Play goes to go on the Days of Play sale.
Didn't look like anything that special to me. The PS4, but hey, it's there.
It's there.
It was like a gray PS4 with the sacred symbols on it. Yeah. But I mean, it didn't look bad.
And that was it, Darby. Nothing else.
Yeah, nothing else for the yep. That was the end of State of Play. I mean,
it was kind of a weird ending point, just on a weird PS4.
Yeah, just like I don't know. Like
wait, Darby, I just remembered. There was
I jogged my memory, Jeff.
There was indie music. That was about it.
Oh, okay, that was about it.
No, Darby, there was something that you were really hyped about. I was hyping you up for it. It's part of the reason we went out of our way to react to it.
Yeah, we probably wouldn't have reacted. We had to kind of scramble and use our old microphones and stuff.
And Sony didn't help things at the beginning of it when you hear the little ding.
Ding. Oh my god.
I mean, at that point, it's like it's either happening or everyone is going to be justifiably mad at Sony.
Yeah, which we do have to like. It definitely took away the surprise, but it also made me. I get it. It made people like me. It's like I'm watching this damn thing.
Yeah, you're watching it to the very end.
Yeah, and like, oh my god. Okay, and then,
and for people who don't know what the hell we're talking about,
go.
It's like you probably. Why are you listening this far into the video game podcast? We're obviously talking about the Final Fantasy VII Remake re-reveal, which I guess we talked about at the top of the podcast, but whatever. They showed a little 1-minute trailer showing some stuff. They said at the end will be shown again in June. It's safe to say that will be at E3 / the Final Fantasy VII concert. Supposed to be happening right before E3.
Yeah, probably both. There'll probably be things at both.
Yeah. And after the state of play, at some point, Square reiterated that Final Fantasy VII Remake will be episodic.
Yes. Which there's a number of things I want to get into this with you, and that's one of them. But maybe save that a little bit to probably the end of this discussion.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, if you are not as familiar with us, Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time. So I was pretty damn excited for this. It was one of those things. Square was retweeting it. It definitely seemed
Yeah,
to
Hashimoto and
to everyone else, it seemed obvious. I was like, I'm gonna be hesitant, just because I'm just scared.
Yeah, and Daniel Mod, he was like Zuge EX on Twitter, who's obviously knows what he's talking about. He's in the industry, blah blah blah. Even said beforehand, it's like, yeah, there's this will be better than the first one or more exciting to general people. Yeah, there'll be medieval. There'll be that new game announcement, which I think he hinted at would be cool, and it was.
Yeah.
And then said there'll be one game that's re-revealed that hasn't been shown in a while.
It's like, okay, and that combined with
and the Hashimoto thing's like, it's Final Fantasy VII, and it's one of those things he didn't correct people, so it's like
and that's absolutely what's happening, and it is what happened. And like, it was one of these things I had to say in the in our reaction videos. Final Fantasy VII is probably the one game where, like, I had to ask Jeff. I was like, Jeff, this looks good, right? It's not just me, right? Like, please tell me I'm not just...
Looks awful, Darby.
I'm like, okay, I guess I don't know. Because I was kind of, like, just speechless, just, like, analyzing. And I've watched this trailer probably, like, 30-something times since then. Because there was, I mean, despite it still, this was... The cynical view is, like, this was once again the bombing mission. Like, they've shown the same, like, little section of the game pretty much every time they've shown this. But there was a lot more. There were a lot of new stuff in there. We saw like 4 different bosses, including one Alps. Like, he's one of you fighting the like sewer afterwards. That actually is a decent amount after the bombing.
Yeah, I mean,
so they did show stuff.
Yeah. I know it's like they actually stuff after bombing because Aerith is there.
Yeah, that too. But like that's even like further after that. That's like, if I'm remembering right, I think that's after the wall market stuff. So that's definitely the furthest into the game they've shown. I mean, it was just like a little clip of the boss. But everything, it is wild to like, this is a game I've just played so much and like means so much to me because I played it as a little kid. And it's crazy to see these things that I've only seen in like little 1997 like pictures and bad graphics, and to see it, just how like realized it was.
Yeah, I imagine for someone like you who played as a kid, and for a lot of other people who played it when it came out or shortly after, it's like, this is what you always imagined the game looked like, and now it really looks like that.
And even, man, if you just compare this trailer even to the 2015 one,
like Cloud looks so much better,
and that didn't look bad at the time. But like when you compare it to now, it's like, there has been
even then, other than just like kind of up in graphics, just little subtle design changes to Cloud just makes him look so much better.
Yeah, and like Barrett especially, like his expressions look so much more real. Like, he looked way more static in the older ones, and
and obviously one of the most exciting things for people seeing this trailer is seeing Aerith for the first time, and
she looks great.
Yeah, they're still hiding Tifa. We saw Tifa's like health bar in some shots, but they wouldn't move the camera a little.
So I mean, do you read that as they're just waiting for it to have a hype moment with her?
Oh yeah, I think it's 100% that. I don't think it's like, oh, she looks bad or anything. Yeah. I think there's the best way to market this, as far as like showing multiple trailers, is to have those moments of, hey, pretty much each trailer reveal a new show a new character in this model, in this engine for the first time. Pretty much is the most hype way to market this to fans, honestly. Like, and then obviously you get hype for seeing the places and bosses, but the characters are going to be ones that get you the most hype, most likely.
And I mean, now we get to go into E3 being like, we still don't know what Red 13 and Tifa look like.
I will say potentially, which could be a controversial thing, I can see them Tifa getting the biggest redesign.
And
then that might be part of it because they're, hiding that to have the big E3 reveal.
I think there's going to be some downsizing, Jeff.
Yeah.
With Tifa. No, I think that's...
Honestly, even like clothes. Who knows? They might do something close to her Advent Children outfit. Who knows?
Which would be cool.
Yeah, I like that outfit.
I like that too.
That was my my default Tifa outfit in Dissidia.
Yeah. I mean, I'm totally down for redesigns, everything doesn't...
And they did Barrett some.
Barrett looks a little bit different. And
wearing sunglasses all the time now.
Yeah. It's cool. Yeah, he definitely looks different and sounds different than you would think he was, but it still just fits. It still feels like Barrett. It still feels all right. And we also got a little bit of gameplay, like just like cut in between there, like nothing like extensive like going into it, but just kind of like quick little shots that we can take of. And it obviously is going more for an action-y style, or at least it just seems like. Because you
it's not turn-based at the very least.
yeah, right. You had like an attack, and then you saw you saw him performing limit breaks. I don't think you saw any UI for the limit breaks. You just saw like Punisher was one of them. I'm not exactly sure.
I think there was. I can't remember which stream it was. Might have been Easy Allies when they were kind of going through it. I think one time when he maybe was doing Braver, they did like a little. It seemed like maybe they pressed, let's say, L1 to do a quick menu thing, and it had, I think, maybe Braver on there and items.
Oh yeah, and someone said like you would know more of this. Someone said that like was very reminiscent of Kingdom Hearts. Yeah.
You can do like little quick menus or whatever, and just put whatever you want there, like summons, items, all that crap.
Okay, so I could, it's probably going to be borrowing some from that.
Oh yeah.
I just
I don't think it's going to be. I think some people are feared this is going to be like a 1-to-1 between Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy VII is going to be a 1-to-1 like combat thing to Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy 15. I don't think it's going to be that. I think it's obvious. It already looks different. Yeah. Especially since we already know, hey, you're going to be playing as multiple characters. Like you can switch around the characters.
Yeah,
it's not one
cool.
person.
You saw it. It was like the triggers. You like press R2 to switch to Barret and Tifa.
Yeah,
which that could be super cool if they like feel different, you know, to play and everything. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, oh well.
I'm so sorry.
I mean, no, I pretty much got my main point across thing. So
yeah. I mean, so it's probably gonna take from those games.
Yeah. I was also saying like it's gonna be a different part. Yeah, you're playing multiple characters, and there's also going to be a thing of, hey, Cloud doesn't have multiple weapons and all that kind of crap. It's like Noctis would, so a lot of reasons, a lot of ways, just kind of fundamentally on the basic level, it's going to be different.
Yeah, and I think I want to potentially have a separate thing where I talk about just where like I'm going to start replaying Final Fantasy VII probably pretty more like heavily now just to get my thoughts in order about like what could be changed in the remake. I definitely want to talk about things that are going to change. Like, yeah, are you going to have the same? Or are you going to be like getting new weapons all the time for all your people, or is it going to be more focused on just just the action-y part of it?
Yeah, I know. Cloud, the Buster Sword's his weapon, but he technically gets other swords.
Yeah, you use the Buster Sword for like a few hours, and then you never see it again.
Do you change that? Is it going to be like once you get new weapons, if
Michael
they do that
Huber
invisible
said he
change?
refuses to get rid of the Buster Sword.
Iconic.
That was kind of a problem with a lot of like old JRPGs. So someone has their iconic sword, but that's actually like the worst sword in the game.
Yeah.
Or whatever their iconic weapon is. I don't know. And there's certain things like that like this game does not need to like feel exactly like Final Fantasy VII. I mean, like I have that, and I'm always going to have the original game, and I don't think this is ever going to replace that, but it's going to be just an awesome new way to experience this. As long as it does feel good. I'm fine.
Yeah, I've seen people kind of, there's some. I don't know why some people are bringing this up now or surprised about it being action based, even though we've known that for literally years. Some people was acting like that was brand new news. I mean, like we saw like some, I think it was like basically fake gameplay, but when they showed it in 2015, it looked actiony there too. I don't know. I mean, they said it was going to be more, that wasn't going to be turn based, going to be actiony. Which, if you prefer it to be turn based, that's one thing. But no point to acting surprised at this point.
No, and like I would be hyped if it was turn based too, but I'm also I'm open. I'm not...
Like here's the interesting. We got stuff like Medieval and Crash and Shadow of the Colossus, which are remakes, but are more 1-to-1, just mostly prettier graphics and some little stuff here and there. Final Fantasy VII, they're going all out and making it pretty much a different game in a way.
Yeah, which again, it's fine with me. I want it to feel good, but I'm mostly concerned with just reliving this game and like looking at everything. I'm just thinking about like looking up at the towers in Midgar, like from the slums, and just. Oh, Jeff! Like, just watching the trailer gives me chills, and then I stop and start thinking about seeing the golden saucer and stuff. Like, oh my god!
Oh, so are you ready to sit down and watch Knights of the Round for like 8 minutes or whatever the hell?
I will absolutely watch Knights of the Round for 8 minutes. See all these like giant knights flying through space and shit, and it doesn't even make sense. Well, I think we're gonna dive into this more in future stuff. If we have anything more to say about the trailer, let's say that. But then, if not, we should talk about the episodic thing.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. There's anything else? Trailer dope. again, it's hyped that we got confirmation that's gonna be at E3, so we know that at least Square's conference is gonna be worth it for us to watch. At least something.
It's like instantly one of my most anticipated things.
Yeah.
Like, show me more.
And if we got Avengers there,
like, I hope it's a blowout. And like, are you expecting release date at this at E3?
I think we use this transition to the episodic thing.
Yeah,
because that kind of goes into it. I'm starting to think yes, because the way they were. It's little stuff like the little Nomura quote on Twitter and just other stuff. It makes like they're ramping up towards launch. Mm-hmm. It's like makes it like, yeah, we're getting this thing, especially if it's episodic and it's just the first part, which is probably pretty much Midgar.
Yeah, so that's a lot more doable to have out either this fall or next spring or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And wasn't there the quote or whatever, the Square Enix is expecting a big financial bump or
this year, and it's kind of like, what else do they have that? I mean, unless there's like some kind of surprise,
or unless Avengers is like almost ready.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If there's some crazy, unless there's some crazy announcement that of game that we haven't seen yet, and there's a quick turnaround, which would be great, but I can't think of anything else. And they're fetching a big boost. That could also mean, hey, we're getting Final Fantasy and Avengers, because again, they had a good many games last year or whatever. Not all of them were, massive sellers.
And if you look like on Final Fantasy's Twitter and Facebook account, like all their stuff has changed to Final Fantasy VII Remake stuff, like the banner and everything else. It just seems like that's their big game.
It seems like now the way they haven't talked about much. Obviously, we'll see more at E3, get a better idea. Obviously, but they're making it sound more like Final Fantasy VII. I'm pretty much stealing the quote from Imran Khan from Game Informer that Final Fantasy VII is a game they're just making now or just working on now. This is like their next game in general, that big game in general that they're promoting.
God, Jeff, that gets me so excited.
And I'm happy that if this is the case and it is coming out within the next year, even if it is like early next year, I am happy they kind of pretty much waited till now to show it again and show it again, and then it's still like 2 years until we get it,
which is still a possibility.
It's still a possibility, but it's looking pretty good. Yeah. So I guess let's get to the main part of the episodic thing you wanted to.
Yeah, this is something like the more I've thought about it, like I think the base initial reaction to hearing that it's still episodic is negative. To be like, it's a game that was originally one thing, and so you're breaking it up into multiple parts, and like obviously it's going to end up costing you more money, because I'm assuming, and maybe I'm assuming wrong, but when they say episodic, I'm assuming it's like this is 3 games, not so much like a Telltale thing.
We got to the point in video games when you see episodic. We think the Telltale games or Life is Strange and stuff. I'm kind of like you. I'm thinking this more. Okay, episodic, they mean we're going to have the Final Fantasy VII trilogy.
Yeah, like they might even have different names. Like this one's called Midgar or something better, and then the next one's called,
which would be, if they do go more into that, could be a high reveals like this fall, Final Fantasy VII Part 1 Midgar.
Right, yeah. Like I'm expecting this to be a trilogy that probably doesn't end until like the latter part of this decade.
It's 2019, Darby. It's gonna end now.
Oh wait, you're right. The next decade, or not that far. Or at least like a 5-year trilogy or something.
Yeah. Be a couple years, but depending how they do this, how much content packed it is. Like we talked about this yesterday, off camera and stuff. Like Final Fantasy VII is already a long as hell game.
Yeah, and
just the fact that they're taking the small 2D is whatever the hell thing the original Final Fantasy VII is, making it a giant 3D world, you assume, and making it, more actiony, and the fact they're just adding in voice acting for all the lines and everything means it's going to be longer if they add everything.
So this is where, like, the biggest thing, like, as the more I've thought about this, the more I'm actually happy they're doing this.
Yeah. It makes it more accessible, because it's like, it makes it less intimidating for someone to maybe jump in.
Yeah, and just from the development side of things, I mean, Final Fantasy VII is huge and weirdly designed, because, again, Midgar itself is like a 13-hour linear awesome arc that can it's a game in and of itself, and then after that it becomes a giant open world game that we're used to in Final Fantasy games, but it's like that also is kind of its own game. And obviously in 1997, when you're doing this with tiny little like simple graphics. That makes sense. But I feel like to do this justice and like to see the same level of graphics we're seeing in this and then have like a sprawling open world, I can totally buy that that's too much for one game.
Yeah.
And I do kind of feel like if they tried to truncate that into one game, number one, it would take them 8 years to make it. And number two, I think they would have to cut a lot. There would be a lot of like things they'd have to like. I think it would end up being just a strictly linear game. Like you would not have an open world. It would be you go from Midgar and then you go to Calm and then you go to the next town. And, you know. Yeah,
the way I look at it is kind of like what we were saying. The potential. We'll need to see how they do it. The episodic thing. It means they can be more faithful to the original game, which is overall what fans want and will probably be best for the new players and more likely for many new players like it.
Because each one of those experiences would have to be justify a game. So I feel like, and they're going to have the budget of like, this is the next game we're working on as part 2 of this. So I feel like that, like, obviously things are still going to be cut and it's going to be different, but I feel you could dig in a lot deeper if you know that you're going to get, a full thing there. And I'm definitely willing to do that. And like I said, I honestly do think it'll end up being better in the long run because of that.
I'm also curious, we also talked about this, if to maybe help justify it maybe being multiple games, if they'll add like stuff. Maybe not necessarily a bunch of main story stuff, or maybe some little stuff to like maybe get more talk. I mean, and I'm saying this as someone who hasn't really played, only played the first couple hours at most, and I know a good bit about the game, obviously, at this point. But it's maybe more context, maybe get more side quests that go into like characters and all.
Yeah, absolutely,
that kind of stuff,
and even just stuff like if the second game, like post Midgar, if it is more open world or semi open world. I mean, in the base game, you have the town, and then you have random encounters to the next town. But in this, like, you have so much area to put things in now. Yeah. Like in between Midgar and the next town, you have you basically, you can do whatever you want with that, and you can flesh out the world. Like this could be, this world could feel like a lot bigger and a lot more like, there's a lot more going on because they get to kind of decide what does the area in between Midgar and Calm look like. We don't know right now. It just looks like.
I mean, I really do think that might be something if they're going as all out as we're kind of hoping they are, is why in general is taking so long. It's one of those things of we're like, oh, it's taking so long, but now that we feel like it's approaching and we're thinking of it like an episodically, we're kind of thinking like, yeah, this is actually a lot bigger undertaking than maybe we originally thought.
It's kind of unprecedented.
Yeah.
To have to take I don't know. It's almost like going back and taking a novel and making like a fully fleshed out like video game out of it, because what you're dealing with, the base game is just so simple, and then this is just so insane. Like we've never really seen something like this before. They at least goes this in depth. Like usually you would just make some HD, like slap some HD filters over it and put it out and you're fine. Like this is completely making a new game out of it. Yeah.
Which obviously we've seen the whole completely new games, stuff like with Resident Evil 2 from this year, for example. Right. But this is, like we said, this is already a very long game,
and the scale,
and like you said, on a fundamental level, they're changing just the way everything looks.
Yeah, I mean,
the way the map has to and the world has to work.
If it was just more of a simple turn-based game, just with better graphics, then maybe that would be doable. But the fact that you're going to be walking around this world. It's not just going to be two words. Random encounters. There has to be enemies everywhere.
Airship combat.
Man, the high wind. I've just been ever since that trailer got on, I've just been thinking about different things, just even simple little areas in Final Fantasy VII and imagining it like this. And good Lord, Jeff. I mean, this is obviously, we're just hype, and it's not going to be as good as we think, but if it even the potential is insane.
Mm-hmm. Actually, one thing, and then we can move on from this. That we didn't talk about. Going back to the trailer, I guess to just think of something. That ending scene thing with Sephiroth, which is new.
Yeah, which I pointed out immediately, and everyone else obviously did too. That Sephiroth was not in the bombing mission. He was not in any of that. I mean, we can kind of maybe think they're just doing their own version of his, he has flashbacks about Sephiroth, so maybe they're just that's in his head. So they're showing Sephiroth there, but it's kind of like just a different take on that.
It's kind of like what I said, expanding on characters maybe potentially, and
yeah.
kind of building up even more the rivalry or whatever between Sephiroth and Cloud.
Yeah. And there's unanswered questions about like Zack and stuff that they could go into. Like there's definitely
that's what Crisis Core is for.
It is. But
which I guess I'll say this. Strangely enough, I beat that game, but I haven't played 7.
Yeah, which we are gonna maybe I'll speak for Jeff, but like I want me and Jeff to both play at least through Midgar of Final Fantasy VII, and then maybe have another discussion.
And I might start it up tonight.
Maybe talking about like, all right. Now that we've played this, like, how are they gonna do this? Like, what is this gonna look like?
Yeah, we made that a main topic. Yeah, I might start that up tonight.
Cool. Yeah, I was playing it a little bit today.
Okay, let's move on, Darby.
I had to.
Oh, no.
It's gonna be an ongoing thing.
No, I'm happy you have one of these games. I've had like a dozen of these since we started the podcast. So
I was talking about the reactions when we did it. Like, I've seen so many other people have their like remaster, like, see their games come to life, and it's like, oh, this is so cool for you, but like now it's a weird feeling to have it with
this is your Kingdom Hearts thing.
Yeah. So hype.
Okay. Next thing, this comes from Joe Scrabbles from IGN. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint, a follow-up to Ghost Recon's Wildland, has been revealed. Breakpoint is set on the fictional archipelago of Aurora in the Pacific Ocean. Set for release on October 4th on PC, Xbox One, and PS4. The game will follow on from Wildlands by allowing full 4-player co-op across its stealth action-focused open world. Will also launch with an as-of-yet unspecified PvP mode. New features include a class system, although you can swap between classes freely, loot in the open world, light survival elements, and prone camo. The ability to slide yourself in mud to avoid detection. Post-launch, the game will also add in-game raids. Breakpoint catches up with Wildlands team leader Nomad. Stranded on a fictional Pacific island, you'll be contending with rogue ghost Cole D. Walker, played by the Punisher John Bernthal, who was introduced to Wildlands last week. And this next one comes from Matt Perslow from IGN. Ubisoft has said that Ghost Recon Breakpoint will not be available on Steam when it launches in October. Instead, it will be available only on Ubisoft's own Uplay client and the Epic Game Store. Ubisoft confirmed the situation the PC gamers in. For Ubisoft PC fans, this won't come as a huge surprise. The company's last two games, Anno 1800 and The Division 2, have both been absent from Steam. While their presence on Uplay means they're not exactly Epic Game Store exclusive, the Epic Game Store is the only non-Ubisoft client where the game can be played.
Yeah, so it definitely seems like Ubisoft is going full.
Yeah,
like,
they pretty much they said this, but confirmation that that seems to be the thing. So Watch Dogs 3, which is where all things come here. Though this is making me doubt it a little more. Potentially
makes you doubt what now? But
I don't know. I just kind of thought about it. Watch Dogs 3 kind of happening. This is pretty much when we thought. I guess I was thinking Watch Dogs 3 would happen. I guess it still can, but still.
Wait, so you don't think it's going to be announced?
I think it's going to be announced, but part of me is like, maybe he's not coming out when we thought. I don't know.
Okay,
it's because two big Ubisoft games. I know they're different, but two big Ubisoft games going head to head.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I mean,
but then again, I guess they had Far Cry and the Division 2 a month apart.
But they could they can announce Watch Dogs for the spring, like that could be the spring. Like
no. I was thinking that it was going to be in the Assassin's Creed spot.
Yeah, that was a safe assumption, but.
I mean, it still can be because these are again two different games, but
yeah.
But this is kind of a big announcement because it's kind of like, hey, this is probably going to take up one of the top 10 best-selling game of the year spots. We'll have two Tom Clancy games most likely. And
October is an interesting time. Like we've seen these games always kill it in the spring, but we'll see how that goes here.
Like I was surprised when we talked about the rumors of this last week, and I think from what we read, made it sound like it was just going to be like a DLC thing. So part of me was surprised that the full game was like, damn, Ubisoft, you confident.
Yep.
Considering the timing is going to be around Call of Duty time and the fact, I know this is different, but again, another Tom Clancy game.
Bold.
Yeah, again, but this is gonna sell buttloads.
It absolutely is.
Yep.
Yeah, obviously, neither me and Jeff are Ghost Recon people. It was another one of those like cool Ubisoft trailers where it's very cinematic and like it looks really cool. But not my thing.
Not my thing. I'm going to be playing probably Medieval that month. Maybe.
We're such loser nerds to play Medieval.
Yeah.
But this next one I actually am kind of interested in.
Okay, Darby. Let's see what you are interested in. This comes from Brandon Terrell from IGN. Oh,
yeah, I just noticed what happened. We have the Ghost Recon story printed twice, and we have it instead of the John Wick story.
The John Wick stuff is there. How weird. Give me a second, people. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's fine. We can kind of just... I mean, the thing is the thing.
Yeah.
Do you have the full story there? Does it just start down here? Or wait, no, down here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna... Just give me 1 second, people. I am sorry.
Jeff, how dare you, Jeff? Well, I'll just kind of talk from my head. There is a new John Wick game.
John Wick Hex.
Looks like a very, like... It is not like what you would probably think of immediately when you think of, like, a licensed game from a movie property like this John Wick. It looks very, like, strategy-based.
Okay. I got it.
Indie-like. Cool art style.
Okay. Brandon Tyrell from IGN. Today, Lionsgate and publisher Good Shepherd Entertainment have announced John Wick Hex, a strategy game based on the titular Hitman, coming exclusively to Epic Games Store for PC and Mac at launch, with a console release planned for a later date. Developed by Mike Biffle, creator of Volume, Thomas Was Alone, and most recently Subsurfer Circular, in conjunction with the creative and stunt teams behind the films, John Wick Hex is built as fight choreographed chess, where you take on the role of Keanu Reeves' brutally efficient assassin, strategically planning his moves and attacks, like a fast-paced puzzle as the cost and consequences of those actions come into play. Presented in a colorful graphic art noir style, John Wick Hex will feature the voice talents of Ian McShane and Lance Reddick, seemingly reprising their characters from the film franchise, and feature an original story created for the game that will expand on the John Wick universe. As Wick, you'll have the opportunity to unlock new weapons, and with them new tactics, alongside new location, new options for his iconic suit. Though ammunition is finite, so scavenging weapons on the job will be key to progressing through the job.
This is a super cool take on a John Wick game. I'm actually like, on paper it would be like, Darby, are you into a John Wick game? Like, probably not, but this looks cool.
Yeah, it's definitely more budget than you would think, because John Wick's a pretty big thing nowadays.
Yeah, which is why I like. It's just refreshing that this got greenlit. They're like, sure, use this.
Yeah, and I think we've recently has shown that, hey, even if it is a budget game, it can sell, and if it has a license, as long as it's a good game made with care, it will definitely sell.
Yeah.
And based on the trailer, this has potential to be exactly that, which is dope.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, even get people like us who... Wait, have you seen the John Wick movie?
I've seen most of the first one. I have not seen the second one, or the...
I haven't seen any of it.
Third one now.
Third one's coming out next week, I believe.
The first one is really cool. It's a cool.
I know people love love these movies.
Yeah, but I need to
see. So like the article said, Darby was saying, it's like more of a strategy action game thing, and so when I seen the trailer, I was like, okay, you got my attention.
Yeah, which is, obviously you're doing crazy action movie stuff, which is cool, but like, yeah, the strategizing it out, it almost makes more sense for John Wick. Just to calculate it out and go. I was telling you, it reminds me of Super Hot, where you have to stop and like plan out stuff. Obviously, it's very different, but it's an interesting take on an action movie game. You would think that it would just be balls to the wall shooter, but this is a cool and the art style is dope. Yeah. So you have both mine and Jeff's attention.
I'm sure there's a lot of people's that I actually haven't read too much on. I guess I may take a peek at Rosetta, see the general reaction there and all that stuff. I gotta imagine people are generally like, no, this looks cool. Show me more. And yeah, I'm trying to think. They might show a new trailer at E3, but I can't think of a conference. It'd be a maybe PC game show,
maybe Kind of Funny Games showcase.
Maybe Mike Biffle. Yeah.
I can see it.
Thinking that we'll get to that later. Okay, next story comes from Jason Schreier from Kotaku. Senator Josh Hawley, Republican from Missouri. That's the Missouri one, right?
Yeah, that's Missouri.
Then before I started with saying senator, where a lot of these
Wait, what?
Reading on the podcast started where he's like, Senator something.
That's rare for this show.
Yeah. Yeah, Senator Josh Hawley today announced a bill that would ban loot boxes and pay-to-win microtransactions in games played by minors. A broad label that the senator says will include both games designed for kids under 18 and games whose developers knowingly allow minor players to engage in microtransactions. Hawley will introduce the bill, the Protecting Children from Abusive Games Act, to the U.S. Senate soon. In press materials announcing the bill, Hawley's team brought up the Activision game Candy Crush as an egregious example of pay-to-win microtransactions thanks to its $150 Luscious Bundle that comes with a whole bunch of goodies. I like the name Luscious Bundle.
Luscious Bundle's for you.
This bill will also likely apply to a host of online games that feature loot boxes and other ways in which players can spend money for real benefits. Hawley said in a press release, and quote, when a game is designed for kids, game developers shouldn't be allowed to monetize addiction. And when kids play games designed for adults, they should be walled off from compulsive microtransactions. Game developers who knowingly exploit children should face legal consequences, end quote. In an update, which I guess happened the same day, the Entertainment Software Association, or the ESA, the video game industry lobbyist group, sent over a statement shortly after this bill was introduced. Numerous countries, including Ireland, Germany, Sweden, Denmark, Australia, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom determined that loot boxes do not constitute gambling. We look forward to sharing with the Center the tools and information the industry already provides that keep the control of in-game spending in parents' hands. Parents already have the ability to limit or prohibit in-game purchases with easy-to-use parental controls.
Yep. It's kind of the next chapter in this whole thing. Obviously, I think it's worth noting that proposing a bill
doesn't mean it's going through.
100% does not mean it's going through. In fact, it means it's probably like it's an uphill thing. You know, like it's nowhere near like confirmation, but it is. This is like the first time there is an actual like movement from the U.S. government about video games. Which honestly, the last time that happened, I think, was the like GTA violence controversy thing or whatever. Like that, literally, I think this is like this only the second time this has happened. I'm probably wrong, but
Mortal Kombat.
Was there?
I don't know. Isn't that how we got the ESRB?
Yeah. Okay. Maybe it was. Yeah. Maybe.
Maybe the government was about that.
I thought it was just GTA, but maybe Mortal Kombat was involved with that too. Obviously, I don't know the full story.
Yeah.
But at the very least, it's rare. And I kind of in the same way I've been through every time we've talked about this, I'm conflicted because like on the one hand, yeah, I don't like stuff that's like kids stuff that's being like marketed to kids or like that we know kids are playing.
Yeah.
And there's like access to gambling or like gambling type practices. But at the same time, I think adults should be able to do what adults want to do. And obviously, probably the biggest offenders of this are adult games that kids are playing. And there's definitely some parent responsibility attached to that. And the other side of this is, I don't know how I feel about people who clearly don't know anything about this industry regulating this industry.
There was I can't remember what the exact thing was in here. It's one like, it's the guy who does not know thing about video games.
Yeah, of course. That's how this always goes. It's always, even when they had even when the Supreme Court was involved with like previous rulings, it's been like, this is clearly just what they hear about, and they don't have any of the context to put two and two together when it comes to like, this is some very detailed stuff about the video game industry, and the people making decisions on it don't know anything about it. And I'm not saying we need no regulation, but like, I don't feel great.
Yeah.
And like, it's going to be so vague, like even the stuff they were talking about. That
like stuff's designed for kids under 18 or so it's like, so pretty much if I guess the way it's kind of reading, if you want loot boxes and microtransactions, hey, you're going to get that M rating, I guess.
Yeah, which probably doesn't always fit. There's certain things like,
Madden, M. Rated M for mature.
I mean, Overwatch, like, yes, you can buy loot boxes to get some skins. Should that be, like, is that like a predatory, horrible thing when, it doesn't affect the game at all? And when the wording's that vague, it's either going to be the wording's so vague so they put the hammer down on things that shouldn't have the hammer down on them, or the wording's so vague that things that should be regulated are able to weasel out of it because they're like, hey, we're technically not advertising to children or something. I don't know. Like, as much as I do think this is kind of a problem, I don't and I don't know what the answer is. I don't necessarily like government regulation for something like video games, which is still apparently niche enough to where like they don't know what they're talking about when it comes to these things.
Let's see. I think I saw the quote. It's like you're saying, blah blah blah. When a game is designed for kids, game developers should be allowed to monetize addiction. Blah blah blah. And when kids play games designed for adults, they should be walled off from compulsive microtransactions. Like, how do you do that?
Well, and
I mean, how do you know the kids are the ones playing it?
You can't.
Other than the whole, hey, there are parental controls that you can do. That's the.
But there already are some parental controls. I mean, like, short of just taking it out completely, you can't. Which that's a terrible precedent to make. Like, you know, like normal adults who are just playing this game, they don't even have kids. They can't have certain things because a kid might stumble upon this mature rated game, or stumble upon this game they shouldn't be playing. It's like, that's kind of crappy. I mean, they're definitely, it sucks, but I mean, like, you as a parent need to make sure your kid is not spending money on these games or not playing games they shouldn't be playing. It's kind of your responsibility most of the time. I would say. Yeah. I think, especially in the mobile space, this is probably more in the mobile space a problem than most of the games that we're concerned about, even though they would affect both. But so another loot box conversation with no clear answers, because there is no clear answer. It's a hard thing to talk about, and we are not the experts.
Nope,
we're just a bunch of doofuses.
Yep. Let's call from Coliseum from IGN. Speaking of doofuses, I don't know.
You just called EA doofuses. Whoa.
EA Access is coming to PlayStation 4 this July. I don't know what that transition was. The service gives players access to a library of EA games, including franchises like Battlefield, FIFA, Madden, Star Wars Battlefront, and more. In addition, subscribers can access EA's Play's first trials, where they can play up to 10 hours of new games. EA Access also grants a 10% discount on full EA game purchases, expansions, and in-game items. It's available for $5 a month or $30 a year and can be purchased through the PlayStation Store. As of now, it appears paying for a subscription for EA Access on Xbox One will not carry over to PS4 and vice versa.
Cool guess. It seemed like from everything I saw, I have not paid too much attention to EA Access, to be honest. So everything I've seen is just after this story. But I guess PlayStation was just kind of the one service that just said no for some reason.
Like a lot of things.
That seems to be an ongoing thing.
Yeah, I know people. I think people are like EA Access. I think I saw a lot of people that ended up buying Anthem early just because there was some good deal on it or something. And then they kind of regret it.
Yeah. So, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
More subscription services.
And more just Sony slowly starting to not be grumpy old men about everything, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't need more subscription services in my life, and I do not play enough EA games to make it worth it.
Hell no.
Absolutely not. I was trying to think of when the last EA game I played was.
Battlefront?
I think that was it. And then before then, it was probably a while. I guess for you, it was Unraveled, but I guess A Way Out. A Way Out was actually the last one.
So for me, it's literally those little indie games they help release to make look good.
Isn't that what Indie Spotlight or something, or what do they call them?
I don't know.
I forgot what they call them. But
EA's in the title, Darby.
Yeah, it is.
They're like, don't we look good?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Darby, you want to talk about some Persona?
Jeff, I'm always down to talk about some Persona. Are you kidding me?
This comes from Sal Romano from Gamatsu. PlayStation 4 PS Persona 5 Royale third semester volume. Wait, what?
Why is PS4 in the title?
Gamatsu does weird things when you copy and paste their stuff. Okay, never mind. The latest issue of Weekly Famitsu has the first magazine preview of Persona 5 Royal, including an interview with director Daiki Ito and producer Kazuhisa Wada. Also kind of something it might be one of the things. I don't know. The director for Persona 4 Golden is doing
the Royal. Yeah.
Okay. And this is supposed to be a lot more substantial. Okay, whatever. Let's get to those tidbits, Darby.
Tidbits? Give me some tidbits, Jeff.
The reason the subtitle is Royal is because we wanted to express our enthusiasm to make a gorgeous title.
Yeah, I looked ahead. Some of these seem like really funny translation things that just sound very awkward. So I'm pretty excited about them.
Yeah. We're not simply adding new elements. We're making it easier to earn experience points so you can play at a better tempo. Better tempo, Darby.
Yeah, which I think for people replaying it, that might be cooler.
Oh yeah.
You can just kind of
kind of like the stuff in Final Fantasy VII on the Switch and stuff. It just makes it
Yeah.
The play assist feature further implements everyone's voices into the game. It considers your character parameters and confidants. This is just a destination which you can move to with the push of a button.
Okay, so it just tells you where to go and stuff.
Yeah, makes more suggestions as far as getting certain stuff done, I guess. We're making.
This is the thing. I had not actually read these bullet points, but I've heard people talk about a lot of the, or I've read some of them. I think that could be very cool for, like, I could definitely see people new to Persona, which I guess I was. It is very daunting where it's like there are so many confidants to do and you have a limited time. There's always like the days are counting down. It's like, should I be fighting people? Who should I be hanging out with? I can't hang out with everyone.
Yeah, and you technically don't know, like, when going to Persona 5, how many days do I have and how much options.
And there's certain confidants that, like, there's one,
kind of I guess there's at a certain point they're just gone.
Yeah, there's one that I only knew about that because Jacob told me. He was like, hey, if you're not at this point with him yet, just stop. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, you just wouldn't know that. Yeah. So, I mean, I could totally see that. Like, that would be good for new people to,
Okay, we're making the volume of the newly implemented third semester go beyond the expectation of those who experienced the volume of Persona 4 Golden.
Whoa.
Yeah.
In marketing, they said it's going to be better. Wow.
Yeah. New character Kasumi increases the perspective and flavor of the story and is someone who will expose existing characters in a new light. Naturally, she is being tweaked to blend into the story. As you play through the game, you will see a different side of her from the teaser trailer. Kasumi also has a confidant you can level up. Party member has a confidant?
Wow, what a new concept. This is, like, I've said a bunch of times before, this is my first time, like, being a fan of a Persona game when it's getting a re-release like this. So, like, I'm very interested because I just don't even know, like, the story is the story. Like, I don't even know where you put in an extra semester because, like, there's a calendar where things happen. Is everything just, like, pushed back a month now or something? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. We'll find out.
And, like, suddenly they're like, oh, we have an extra semester this year. That's weird.
Let's see. New confidant Maruki is an extremely nice adult character.
Well, I'm buying it now. There's a really nice adult character. You sold
Back of the box material.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Let's go.
If we had to say yes or no,
this is my favorite. This is my favorite, by the way.
If we had to say yes or no to there being new confidants other than Kasumi and Maruki, we would have to say yes. Look forward to more information in the future.
They could have just said, hey, there's new confidants, but no. If we had to say yes or no, we'd have to say yes, there are new ones.
If you forced put a gun to our head.
We'll say that. You called us. You got us. We have to say yes.
Got me. If you have save data for Persona 5, you will get some sort of bonus. You will not be able to use the same save data for Persona 5 Royal, however. So you'll get a bonus, but you won't be able to do the whole carryover.
You get a maid costume. We all know it.
Probably. There are 20 new background music tracks.
Which is hype.
Yeah.
Anytime you're putting new music in
honestly, this is the most important one. This last one. There is a scene where the mysterious new handsome guy character sleeps in the same bed as the protagonist.
Or did you really sold me? I'm buying 2 copies.
And we know who the handsome character is.
Yes. We saw the horrific more scene.
Persona 5 Royal is due out for PS4 on October 31st in Japan. And in 2020 in the West.
God bless, like, weird translations of Japanese interviews. God bless them. Yeah. I'm very excited for 2020 when I get to replay Persona 5, and it's all like I'm itching for it, you know? I am excited.
You know what I'm excited for, Darby?
What are you excited for,
E3.
E3!
Specifically Nintendo, because, of course I am. Nintendo announced their E3 plans. On June 8th, they will hold World Championships for both Splatoon 2 and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Derby.
Are we going to compete?
Obviously. I got my invite in the mail already.
Oh, nice, dude.
Yeah. It had the little Smash logo. Yeah. That's hype. Or does that mean I'm an actual fighter in the game? I don't know. Well, I'll find out when I get there.
It's just Jeff with a band t-shirt and cargo shorts. Let's go!
Yeah! I'll take you down, Mario! Okay. They will have their Nintendo Direct on Tuesday, June 11th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So their normal time.
So it's nothing's different.
Yeah. And then they'll have Treehouse Live after the Direct for the next, 3 days.
Where we're going to see some Fire Emblem, of course.
Of course, and every other good thing. And maybe some bad things.
Just Fire Emblem.
Just Fire Emblem for 3 days?
Just for 3 days.
Man, some people are tired of Fire Emblem before.
The internet would be so mad.
The whole Direct is Fire Emblem. The whole Treehouse Fire Emblem. In fact, even Microsoft Conference is all Fire Emblem.
Yep, it's all video games are Fire Emblem now.
You guys wanted your waifus. You're getting them.
Master Chief, he's a Fire Emblem waifu now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he has boobs and a sword now.
It's how it is.
And blue hair.
It's how it has to be.
Yeah. It's how it has to be. So,
well, speaking of Fire Emblem, the Kind of Funny Games Showcase.
Yeah.
It's all Fire Emblem now, Jeff.
Yeah, the Kind of Funny Games Showcase will happen on Monday, June 10th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Greg Miller, one of the founders, Kind of Funny, said they have 61 games so far lined up for the showcase.
Hoo-wee! And he said in the Kind of Funny Games daily I just listened to that it was going to be about an hour.
Nice.
Yeah, I think we both kind of thought that they would do like pre-E3 time, just because I didn't think they would want to do this in the middle of coverage. But I mean, God bless them. Sounds like a lot of work and a lot of stress.
So this is going to be in between Ubisoft's and Square's thing.
So they are a bona fide E3 press conference going right in the middle of everything.
I guess it helps. There might be some things like, I guess I'll use Easy Al as an example, why they're kind of chilling, watching, if they're done talking about Ubisoft, like, hey, let's throw in the Kind of Funny things. We're already sitting here.
Yeah. We'll do it if we have anyone to react to it. We will, I guess.
Yeah, unfortunately, that starts the time I get off work.
Yeah. Maybe I can just sit here and be like, these are some nice indie games.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it later because I don't have enough time to get here. Then us watch it and then be ready for Square.
Yeah. But I am glad.
We'll figure all that out later.
Definitely glad this is happening again. I mean, obviously, if you have not listened to us, Kind of Funny is probably one of the biggest reasons why we are sitting here at this table today. They're big inspirations. And I love the first one. It'll be cool to have a bunch of indie games get a spotlight. And I assume, like, the first one, they're going to have, mostly indie games and then maybe, like, one big
thing. I think they're more likely to have more, bigger things, especially since Sony has, even if Square's taking their time slot, there's still a little hole.
I mean, Greg has, on podcasts, tried to reiterate that this is, like, I think he almost made it sound like this one's even more indie than the last one. I mean, he was kind of like, this is just an indie showcase, but I still could see there being one or two somewhat big things at the end. Yeah.
No, it's all going to be big. All 60 games.
I mean, it's all Fire Emblem. We already said.
You're right.
Said, so I don't even know why we're...
Half of them are Fire Emblem characters announced for Smash.
Yes. We're making all the... There's going to be like a Fire Emblem version of every character in Smash, and the normal OG ones are gone. So Pikachu's not there anymore. It's replaced with a waifu that has Pikachu ears and a Pikachu tail.
Yeah. We also Plumber Marth, Green
Imagine
Plumber
the King
Marth.
K. Rool Fire Emblem waifu.
Man, Penguin Marth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right along with Dolphin Cole.
Speaking of waifus, Darby, this game doesn't have them.
I was about to say, it has like 3 female characters total, right? Or 2. Does it only have 2?
It's 3.
What's the third one? There's the
Videl was a new.
I forgot.
I wanted another one with this one, but no. Okay. So anyway, the last DLC character for the Dragon Ball FighterZ DLC Pack 2, whatever the hell, was leaked, announced officially. I don't know. Whatever the hell. Microsoft has some video, and they said what it was, and then people said, "Did you just leak the character?" And then on Twitter or YouTube, they're like, "No, we have permission to do this." Like, okay. And I don't think Bandai Namco has technically officially announced it yet, but okay. Janemba is the final DLC character.
That's a name.
That is a name, Darby.
Sounds like a Pokemon.
Well, let's show you what Janemba looks like just real quick, Darby.
Janemba.
Actually, Darby, what's kind of funny is he has a first form where he literally just says his name.
So he is a Pokemon. He's a Pokemon.
So this is Janemba.
I am Groot. I think I've seen it, yeah. He looks like Piccolo with a red Piccolo with a hat.
And this is Janemba's first form. Where he just says his name.
So he slimmed down.
Yes, he slimmed down,
He worked out.
And got a sword.
Nice.
A demon sword thing.
I think it's an upgrade.
So Never Alone is cool. They'll do some cool stuff for him there. He has some cool. He does this cool teleporting thing where he kind of turns into little cubes and they kind of just shift and teleport and stuff. So then the Arc Systems engine's gonna look dope. So that'll be cool. And I guess it's another sword character, something we don't have. So he'll be a cool fighting game character for sure. Yeah. But the fortunate thing is a lot of people were hoping for another female character, another Dragon Ball Super character, which mainly Kefla from the Tournament of Power arc. Was a big hopeful one, especially since we got Jiren from the same Dragon Ball Super arc, thinking, okay, they're opening up these characters, maybe we can do that.
Nope, you'll take your 3 and be happy.
We're getting another non-canon movie character, yeah.
Well, Jeff, you have to get like 3 more Gokus at least.
It's true.
This is all
we just got a Goku 2 days ago.
How many Gokus are we at?
Do we count the ones that where Goku fuses with Vegeta?
Yes, it's still Goku's in there.
Okay. Do we count Goku's father as a Goku?
Well, no.
But he looks just like Goku, though.
Moveset wise, is he just Goku, basically?
Nah. I don't know. We have like 5+ Gokus or some shit.
Why do they always do this?
I don't know. They said they weren't going to do it with this damn game.
Because it sells. I mean, I know the answer because it sells.
God damn it. Okay. Speaking of sales time, Darby.
Well, let's get through these sales. Ryan Reynolds is calling, Jeff.
Ryan Reynolds is calling. Okay, this is going to be a short and sweet thing, Darby.
Sales.
The Tales series has now sold over 20 million units worldwide.
It's over a lot of games that it took to get there.
Yeah, but Tales is niche as can be.
Yes, it's still
niche
good.
RPG series.
It's still good. It's still very good.
It's headline worthy when we hear one sells like over 1 million or something.
They have like a Tales festival and stuff in Japan, so I just assume it's bigger in Japan, but I guess still probably not that big. And Japan itself as a country is not that big, so
yeah,
you could have a niche festival too.
Yeah.
But cool for
them miles.
That's just very hard to gauge like what that really means because it's across so many games. It's like I don't know which games attributed to that 20 million more, but probably mostly Vesperia and Symphonia.
I feel like recent ones have done pretty good for the most part. So
cool.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. We got some more financial reports, specifically from EA and Capcom. So we're gonna go over some little tidbits from each of those. First, we'll go to EA. 49% of EA's full game sales on PS4 and Xbox One were digital over the last 12 months.
Kind of going along with what we said last week. Digital is really starting to take over.
Yep. Anthem sold below expectations. People were thinking when we got those things, when we were getting when they were talking about, this in the conference calls or whatever, Anthem was not mentioned. Sales, and I was just like, this sold below expectations. They officially said it sold below expectations. So that's not the most surprising thing.
It is not.
But we don't have exact numbers, unfortunately.
Yeah, because it's sold below expectations.
Exactly. I'm curious because they gave a number like what they wanted to sell by this time frame. I was curious like how much below.
Yeah,
but then they gave I guess some announcements for titles and some predictions for what they're hoping some titles would sell. Yeah. They are predicting / hoping 6 to 8 million in sales for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
No.
Yeah.
Star Wars game coming out right alongside Episode 9.
Yeah.
Single player. I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah. I don't know the time frame. What they're doing is I guess it's just the fiscal year. So by the end of next March is what they want these sales by.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's very doable.
Yeah.
As long as it's good, of course. The new Need for Speed title is predicted to sell about 4 million. Sounds right. I guess.
I honestly have no gauge of how big Need for Speed is anymore.
Yeah, I imagine it's one of the things that just sells.
It used to be like really big, and it might still be just as big, and just people don't talk about it. I don't know.
The new Plants vs. Zombies is predicted to sell in the low single-digit millions.
Which somehow that series keeps going.
Yep.
People like it.
Because it keeps on selling at least, millions.
And it probably costs very little to make.
Yeah, in comparison to some other titles. So, hey, good on them.
Good on you.
Okay. time to move on to that there Capcom, which is doing crazy enough for, I guess, Easy Allies to have a full podcast on it. I haven't listened to it yet, but I just saw the time.
I listened to it. I kind of think that might be a decent idea for us when we have like slow news week, is to just take a studio and like, let's just now analyze like how they, their trek. But yeah,
maybe we can do it a little bit with Capcom right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's some information. Resident Evil 2 would ship 4 million units. That's pretty damn good considering that's pretty much 2 months in sales.
Yes, yeah, it's going to keep going, and this already could have been like a really well-received game, but not, I could have seen it selling like 2 million and be like, yep.
Devil May Cry 5 has shipped 2 million units, successfully reinvigorating the brand.
Nice.
Both titles have exceeded expectations. I think that's
clear. Yeah.
Yeah. And Devil May Cry 5 has, I guess, only been less than a month with sales.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
2 million for that?
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Monster Hunter World has shipped 12 million units, continuing being the best-selling Capcom game.
Iceborne's going to come out and probably sell even more.
Record high profits 2 years in a row for Capcom. They also said that Mega Man 11 and the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection both did well.
I mean, we've said this so much, but just Capcom was a studio on the ropes, or a company on the ropes, like making just weird decisions, just kind of flailing around a shadow of their former selves not very long ago.
Yep.
And it's just, the tides have changed. So
who would have guessed? They just had to make games that people liked.
Because it's just, they have so many series that people love.
We've talked about so much, especially when you just consider Japanese companies, like, besides Nintendo and maybe Square, like, as far as beloved IPs, they have the
absolutely.
Well, like, the only, one of the few game companies that makes sense to maybe have a Marvel versus Capcom, having a crossover fighter and Capcom being one of them, and have a roster full of beloved characters, and you still are missing ones people really want.
You're never going to get it all because they just have so many. And they're like, there's a publisher, and they almost rival, like, not completely, but they almost rival, like, the Nintendos and some of these and stuff. Like, with their
we talk about it because Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, was a disappointment in a lot of ways, and it's probably because of Marvel's interference with it, or as we assume. We want a Capcom, just pure Capcom crossover fighter, if they're willing to do it, because hey, they can get the gameplay down and then still have a great roster of characters, and then have room for the weird pigs like Phoenix Wright.
Hell yeah.
And Amaterasu.
And it is interesting, like, I think we did last week or 2 weeks ago, comparing like Capcom to like Sega. Like, could Sega make a similar?
I think we did that.
Could Sega make a similar, like, could they bridge a similar comeback? And I'm not as sure, because even Sega doesn't have the quantity of beloved titles that Capcom has. They have a handful of ones that everyone loves, but despite being a really old company like Capcom that's been around, Capcom is one of those that even in their darkest years, they have the series. You just have to do them right.
And they happen.
And hopefully, forgot what I was gonna say. Anyway, Capcom's doing a lot better, and I'm very excited.
Yep. This is kind of just what people have been interpreting off of some of their statements for the next fiscal year. No major titles are expected next year, maybe beyond Monster Hunter Iceborne.
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry.
Like, no major titles are expected beyond Monster Hunter Iceborne. This is because normally when they talk about the next year, they say like major title 1, major title 2, which they had that last year. And they obviously ended up being Resident Evil 2 and Devil May Cry 5. They didn't seem to have that in this presentation.
So this might be a lighter year as far as new things, but there also could be unannounced.
They said like they expect half the number of SKUs. So, number of new games and stuff. So, there might be still some re-releases still to come and all that kind of stuff. But despite this, they expect to sell more units than the previous year. And I think the number that was on there was 1 million. More units in general. So, they're expecting sales to go up as far as units. Maybe not as money because there won't be as many new ones.
Yeah.
So, Capcom's expecting to still do well. It's just it'll be a lighter year for them, which kind of makes sense because they've been going crazy.
Do you think we can get a new Capcom IP at some point?
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. They're doing well by doing the whole.
I mean, and even if they don't, it's fair. I mean, they're still kind of like reviving all their old ones. So it's
no, that's fair. It'd be an exciting thing, but I mean, I get it. No, I think where it could be hype just for a more niche title, having Okami 2. That's something the fans
lower budget.
Yeah,
obviously lower sales, but it could be a awesome thing.
Yeah, make the fans happy.
It's just you'd have to really change up the gameplay in some ways, but
yeah.
I mean, I guess they ported it to modern console, the old one, and it worked well enough. But all right, Jeff, we're running out of time, and like I said, our old boy Ryan's calling us.
Old man Ryan.
So, Jeff, we just saw Detective Pikachu last night. We are going to talk about it a little bit here. We're going to kind of treat this a little bit like a spoiler cast in the fashion that right now we're going to be spoiler free, and we'll let you know very clearly when we start talking about spoilers. And we're just going to have a kind of brief discussion of it. We could still totally have a spoiler cast in the future. Maybe we can get Alex on here or something. But we're at least going to talk a little bit about it now. So, Jeff, let's just lay the groundwork. Jeff, you are a huge Pokemon fan. You've played every generation. You've played most of the weird spin-off Pokemon. Did you play Pokemon Snap?
Of course, Darby.
Okay.
When I came out, I was like 5.
Yeah. You play all of those, did all of that. I know very, 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 very little about Pokemon. You can see our Pokemon Emerald Nuzlocke and see how little I know about it. I literally, after this movie, I was like referencing the Pokemon as what we named them in my Nuzlocke because I know those names more than their actual names.
There were 2 Pokemon we have that were... Oh, wait, there were actually 3. Gex was in there. I don't know if you saw Gex.
I didn't see him.
Gex...
Or actually, I think I kind of remember. I kind of remember seeing him.
Gex was you could see Gex multiple times. There's one time in particular where he was kind of more noticeable.
Gex? What the hell?
Yeah. Trico.
So that just laying it out. Doesn't know anything about Pokemon. Jeff knows a lot about Pokemon. Jeff, so you're the more important one here. Jeff, what did you think about Detective Pikachu?
I enjoyed it a lot. If you just took this as a normal, it's easy to poke holes in this movie. A lot of holes.
Yeah.
It's not the best movie ever, that's for sure. But as a Pokemon fan, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed all just seeing the Pokemon, in the world, interacting with things, doing Pokemon things, interacting with humans. This was in a trailer, so I'll say it's little stuff like Charmander using his tail to help cook. Little stuff like that in the background were really cool. Just
Champ directing traffic.
Yeah, and just all the little things and trailer stuff posters that were on the main character's kid bedroom of the Sinnoh region, which is the region for the 4th generation, and just stuff like that, seeing this world and seeing Pokeballs, all the Pokemon stuff. It's really dope.
And the designs, I will give I'll get into what I think first, but just praise. I think the designs looked really cool, actually. I expected to have more of a problem with it, but for the most, I still think a lot of the Pokemon look fake, but it looked good enough in the movie. It was consistent throughout, and there was. I like the different design. There was a good variety. Probably not quite as many as maybe we were hoping.
Yeah.
There was definitely, and especially outside of the trailer, there was not too many, I feel like most of the big Pokemon that we'd be like, oh shit, that one, we saw in the trailers.
Yeah.
Which is, obviously a little bit of a bummer, but they had to sell the movie. I get it,
Yeah.
I get that. From my perspective, it's obviously I did not know Pokemon, so I did not get any of the Pokemon references and stuff, which I didn't expect to. I was going into this partially just going with y'all as a group because I was going with a group full of Pokemon fans. But I was hoping from the trailer that I would kind of just get a base level, it's going to be a fun, goofy movie.
Yeah.
That even if you don't like Pokemon, it's going to be funny enough, and especially because the trailers really made it seem like this is Ryan Reynolds as being Ryan Reynolds. It's we're not hampering him down into a Detective Pikachu movie. It's just kind of we're gonna there's gonna be some Deadpool-esque humor for all of you. And overall, I really don't feel like we got there.
As much. Yeah.
It felt a lot more like a kids movie than I was expecting.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, and Ryan Reynolds was good, but his lines did not feel distinctly Ryan Reynolds, and most of the humor didn't really land with me, which that was all I had, basically. So after the humor wasn't landing with me, I was kind of sitting here like grasping for something to hold on to, and it's like there's really nothing for me here. So basically what I would say is, if you're not a Pokemon fan, don't go see this movie. It's not for you. Like I was not supposed to be there is the way that I got out of it. So for the most part, I was bored. The plot was kind of nonsense, and the writing was not very good. I didn't care about the characters at all, and the humor like fell flat. So like I was basically just looking at the cool Pokemon, but that definitely wears out its welcome after a while. So I didn't enjoy it, but it wasn't for me. And I just learned that going in there. So I would advise, don't go see it if you're not a Pokemon fan. But if you are a Pokemon fan, I could totally see how this is really cool. Yeah. Well, do you want to talk about, I guess we can go into spoilers and just like briefly talk about some
spoiler
cool stuff.
Warnings.
So anywhere after here, make sure you have seen Detective Pikachu, or if you just don't care, then that's fine too. Okay. Yeah. You've been warned.
Yep.
Spoilers, Jeff.
Darby.
I don't know. What is the spoiler for this movie?
Pikachu really was Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, which is super strange.
That's a plot twist everyone saw coming, as far as at least the dad being Detective Pikachu.
I just didn't expect. For some reason, I just didn't expect it to walk out and like, look, it's a Ryan Reynolds. Like,
I kind of thought that's probably where they're gonna go with it the moment they made it obvious. Oh, Mewtwo's about to take the dad out of Pikachu.
Which also was a little weird that like he wasn't like, hey, you sound exactly like my father.
Yeah. The most thing I can come up for is that it's been a long time. No. That's a stretch. But yeah, it's like, it'd be really weird if they did pull him out, and the guy who the dad was someone else and did not sound anything like Ryan Reynolds. Like, are they gonna do Ryan Reynolds here?
Yeah, but I also like, obviously I thought like, yeah, he's probably the dad, but then I was also thinking like, surely they're gonna be setting up for a Detective Pikachu too, so maybe they won't figure that out until later, or somehow it'll be revealed it's the dad, but he can't get out of the Pikachu body, so basically they know, but he's still Pikachu. Which I thought it was gonna be something like that, just so they could continue having Detective Pikachu movies. But now I'm like, I don't really know if you can, unless you just find some bullshit way that he goes back into the Pikachu.
Yeah.
Mewtwo comes back and he's like, I changed my mind.
Your heart is hurt. I can feel it. In a way, I kind of like that. They kind of just wrapped it all up, so it's just kind of a good, standalone thing. And the way I was kind of hoping this movie does, I think it does pretty well. Is it kind of sets up, hey, this is a Pokemon world, like getting more to use the idea of Pokemon in the more like real world or whatever and stuff, and then have more movies based on Pokemon, because technically the title is Pokemon Detective Pikachu is the full title.
Yeah. So
next movie will be a Pokemon
something else.
Yeah. So
I mean,
I think it's more set for that than a Detective Pikachu 2, which I figured they were just going to do both of that probably going in, but
now it seems more like Detective Pikachu is probably closed.
It's the quote unquote Iron Man of the Pokemon cinematic universe, but won't be as connected. It's just all in the same world.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I wonder if we'll go full like Team Rocket and stuff from here.
I think the Team Rocket reference was the fact the drug was called R. I imagine that's what that was going for. So a bunch of little references like that, and one thing was really interesting, which got me kind of intrigued, but it's like this could just be either and I'm sure there's some interview out there I might look for to see. It's either setting up something or it's just a little nod. With Mewtwo, they said, hey, Mewtwo was made and escaped or whatever 20 years ago in the Kanto region, which is the region in Red and Blue where Ash and the original games come from, where Mewtwo is made in the movies and stuff like. So they're referencing that. So is this? I guess this is the Pokemon games Red and Blue like canon, or is the anime kind of canon in this world? Kind of loosely, is like Ash in this world and met Mewtwo or whatever 20 years ago.
They could kind of go back and make their own version of that and stuff. If they want to. It's a weird place to start, honestly. Detective Pikachu. I mean, like, especially if you end up going back. It's a weird place to start, but I mean, it's cool.
I think it was a smart thing to maybe start out this kind of more standalone thing, not overwhelming you. Unfortunately, that's kind of not as good as an argument, because the whole thing we were saying was, this was a movie made a step to get people like you more into this world, and it didn't, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, the next Pokemon movie I probably will not be.
I mean, and that's completely fair,
and it's fine. Like this movie didn't need to be for me. It just the trailer made it seem like it could have been.
Yeah. It's different from Sonic, where it made it out like it was for everyone. When Sonic it was for no one, but this was just for the which made sense. If you looked at the theater we were in, the group, it was mostly people closer to like around age, which I mean, and some with kids.
To be fair, we were seeing
we were seeing at 9:30.
Like we got out of the movie at 11:30 at night. But I do think there probably are a lot of our age group.
I think what this movie kind of nails, again, it is unfortunate that especially with the trailers, it did set up. Looks like you might be
that second trailer was dope as hell, and like, just the sad thing for me is that trailer was like a lot better than the movie for me. But it was just a really cool trailer.
But it based on what I'm seeing online, it's getting older Pokemon fans. It seems like I know there's some, but I feel like I've rarely seen or hardly seen people who grew up with Pokemon that dislike this movie. And this will be a movie kids will all enjoy as well. So it's getting two demographics, the two main that it needed to. At least to enjoy. So at least there's that.
There's enough Pokemon fans that even if this barely gets anyone interested in Pokemon, there's enough already.
Yeah. Even if it doesn't get to Avengers levels and stuff, it doesn't need the budget based on what we saw. So that helps in its favor. But yeah, gets me excited because we talk about a couple of cool things and jokes or whatever.
What do you think about the music? Because like I expected to like the music and I really did not. Like I guess it was like weird. It was I'm imagining it was like kind of renditions of Pokemon music.
Some, yeah.
But it just felt like a weird halfway point between like a modern version of the song and then a retro version. I don't know. It's just probably a particular hang up to me because I had no nostalgia for the music, so it just felt very out of place and just kind of odd. Like I was very taken away every time they were like went to a new place and the music started playing. I was like, there was just something off about it, like every single time. But that's probably just me. I imagine you do not have the same complaint.
Yeah, honestly, for the most part, I didn't notice a lot of the music other than when it did the more iconic things like actually play the Pokemon theme when they were doing that interview thing in the close beginning, and obviously Ryan Reynolds singing the Pokemon thing, which is great. Let's see, I'm trying to think of little things. One thing I found funny was unfortunately, is one of those things of they showed the most of this scene during the trailer with the whole Mr. Mime thing. Yeah, I like that scene, but they showed most of it except for the.
I will say, I think the best scenes in the movies were in the trailer.
Yeah, I can see that. At least as far as what you were looking for.
yeah. To be fair, that's a very non-Pokemon fan perspective. Yeah,
I did like the end of the Mr. Mime thing where they dropped the match.
So is he dead?
Yeah, Mr. Mime's dead. We don't see him the rest of the movie. I'm trying to think. I like the little twist with the Ditto.
Yeah, the Ditto.
And then they do a little thing where the Ditto, I guess, bad at transformation, so he has the little beady Ditto eyes on everything.
It was pretty good. Like, just takes off the glasses. That was awesome.
Once it did, it's like, how did I not see that twist coming? Because we see the guy at the beginning of the interview, and this partner Pokemon we see is a Ditto. We see a Ditto take him away. And
and they're all wearing sunglasses, but they definitely made them seem like they're like these cool people just wearing sunglasses all the time. But yeah.
I was like, man, they're really going with the whole silent, like, just bad guy to be a bad guy thing. Like, oh no, it's just a Ditto.
Yeah, that was a cool reveal. I definitely liked that a lot. Just the horrifying Ditto.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. I like the Lady Death Whismer. Is that the name?
Loudred.
Okay. I like when they got the crazy gas and just the music.
No, stuff like that. I really like that stuff as far as using the Pokemon powers to.
Yeah, I wish there was more of that. There was not enough of Pokemon doing their thing. Even there's a lot of them we saw the Pokemon, but they never really did much.
Yeah. That's definitely one complaint. And we didn't get much battling, or a lot of the Pokemon things. Like the only time we really saw a Pokeball was the beginning of the movie when he was trying to catch the Cubone.
I mean, yeah, definitely part of it was the city is not about catching Pokemon, right? Yeah. It's about living in harmony and stuff. Is this city just a complete made up thing for this movie, or is that?
Pretty sure it's probably Detective Pikachu town, but yeah, I think it's made up. There might be a rhyme city in one of the things. But Yeah, again, I think the whole idea of that we're better placed if it was a better movie for people like you.
The idea of what now?
The idea of the city living in harmony, where less of the no Pokemon battles, no Pokeballs and stuff.
Right.
Would be better if this was a movie that would be more.
It almost would have been better. Like if it was gonna be this, they should have just leaned into the the Pokemon instead of
having more battles and all kind of stuff. Which I guess it was Detective Pikachu and he didn't have his powers, which is something from the games. Until the very end that he couldn't use electricity and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess it makes sense there were less battling and all that kind of stuff for the most part. But I do wish we got more of it. We had some the Blastoise for the Gengar thing was cool.
But there was definitely probably too many times that this kind of feels like an action movie with Pokemon instead of a Pokemon. Like a lot of the battles are not very Pokemon-esque. It's like people are punching each other and running at each other and jumping around and stuff. It's like, especially like that third act, like nothing about that really felt Pokemon. It was just kind of chase scene, action scene, And
that happens in Pokemon stuff too. Obviously, they're not like the games because that's just turn-based, but in Pokemon animes, that kind of stuff, they do stuff like that sometimes. There's less like Tim yelling at Pikachu, use Thunderbolt!
Yeah.
Though he told him to do Volt Tackle like half the movie before. Like Volt Tackle was my best move. Yeah. I think of
the villain sucked. that guy was pretty bad, but
I kind of liked it. I'm not saying the villain's good. That wasn't where I was going with that. So don't worry.
Mewtwo's cool. But
no, I was about to say I kind of like it that it kind of did a kind of twist. Mewtwo was not actually bad.
Yeah, the subversion. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, Mewtwo's actually good.
The good guy. Yeah, I like that. Mewtwo was cool. I'm just the weird CEO.
I like how Mewtwo's voice was kind of like you kind of hear like different multiple voices. It's like you hear a guy and you kind of hear like a woman's voice in there sometimes.
Sounds like a god.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then I just remember one of the scenes like I see the corner of my eye like Alex and looking at Olivia and apparently Olivia's getting the Bulbasaur scene. When Pikachu was hurt and they were leading just a little group of Bulbasaurs.
Oh yeah, I knew she would be all about that.
Like, of course, the starter Pokemon Bulbasaur's the one who gets the group in the big scene.
They're pretty adorable.
They are adorable.
Adorable group of Bulbasaurs. Yeah.
I want one.
But they're like big old eyes.
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty cute.
Yep.
Pretty cute. Yeah. Was there anything else?
Trying to think.
Get off your chest.
I liked him okay. I mean, he was kind of basic, but
yeah. I didn't love his acting. I mean, like, I honestly feel like it was just the script. They didn't have much to work with. Him and the girl, like, feel like neither of them had a ton to work with in this movie, which is a bummer. I mean, they were not horrible, but it's just it was not a great script. I mean, it's fine. It's a Detective Pikachu movie.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like the scene where I guess it was after some of the stuff they were in the dark and they were talking about the dad stuff. Personal reasons, dad stuff got me.
Yeah. I mean, that was I definitely feel like at the beginning it was like it kind of starting to make more sense after you realize he didn't know his dad as much. But I was like, this is just going really fast. It's like his dad dies and then he's like joking around and he's not really like reacting to it. I'm like, this is strange. Yeah. But it kind of started to make more sense. So yeah, I'll give him that.
Trying to think about
Psyduck was funny.
Yeah, I saw people say Psyduck's the breakout star. It's like, what's the Psyduck do you think? That's like
we're all Psyduck. Let's be honest.
Psyduck. Off my feet.
Psyduck. Or I just love when they're like running from the when the ground is breaking. You just Psyduck.
It's like no time to get your headache. Wait, it's time to get your headache.
It's okay.
You dumb duck.
Yeah, that was really good. I mean,
I do really like the Psyduck stuff. Type Pikachu's just like, so we gotta listen to this relaxing spa music so you don't, so your head doesn't explode and kill us all. Psyduck.
Yeah. It was definitely cool to see the Pokemon in the real world and just the simple stuff like that was really funny.
Yeah.
Yeep 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 yeep. Yep. I'd be interested to see the budget of this movie because there is a lot of CGI, but obviously
I'd probably look it up just real quick.
I mean, there wasn't like too crazy much. But,
yeah, I will say there are some scenes where, like, I like the CGI, I like the way the Pokemon look. There are a couple scenes in particular where it felt like it was more obvious. It was more obvious that those are CGI characters.
Yeah, definitely.
Some more than others.
Not all 100%. I mean, they had a lot to do. They had a lot of CGI characters to make for sure. But especially some of the shots in the city, like I think there was a Charmander walking around the city, and I'm like, that doesn't look like it's there. It looks very fake. So it was not all 100%. And I still think there's like about a quarter of the shots of Pikachu. Still, I'm looking at him, like, this looks like a stuffed animal. And then whenever he's moving around and doing stuff, he looks more real. But whenever he stops and just like stares at him, I'm like, these look like dead eyes that I'm staring into. So
it had a budget of 150 million.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not that. It's not that much. So.
He'll make that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not even worried about that. Yeah, I do want to see what the box office ends up being, but I'm sure it's going to be pretty good.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, I already said we might get more. Might do more. Do the more thing where maybe get Alex in here, maybe just be me and him one-on-one, maybe.
Yeah. I don't think I'd contribute too terribly much to this.
I can write all the cool Pokemon things that we remember.
That would be a fun thing. Well, I guess really quick, what do you think this means for video game movies going forward? Because despite me not really thinking this movie was that great from my perspective or everything, I still think it's going to be a successful, mostly well-received video game movie. I mean, Pokemon's kind of gone outside of video games, but
this is based off a Pacific video game,
right? It can't hurt, and I definitely think this is like probably the best foot forward, like the most clear best foot forward we've had for a video game movie thus far. I don't know how it's going to really affect things going forward, but at least it's like this might make other people stand on attention, like, hey, maybe,
Yeah, I think what it helps is, again, while it's not, it won't get everyone, like, I'm saying you, and other people who are not already into Pokemon. Yeah, it's at least something. It's at least more than a lot of other video game movies where the fans are all in and really liked it, has loved it, or at least loved the look of it. Yeah, which is not an often thing. So I'm hoping it just does more of a trend where people see this and like, okay, we know this is Pokemon and it's really popular and all. I mean, it's popular than any other franchise that will probably be brought up for a video game movie. Yeah. But maybe if we can do well, get well received and all that kind of stuff, if we kind of lean into video game lore and stuff instead of do like with Sonic and we're just insert him into our world. Oh, military, like every other movie. Yeah, actually be like passionate to the source material. Show that you care. And we were talking about this on the way home last night. Maybe pick some franchises to stand out more that's not like Tomb Raider and the talked about Uncharted movie we've been talking about forever, where it's just Indiana Jones, but not.
Right. I mean, you compare that. Pokemon, it's a crazy concept, and it's a very unique thing we just saw, where like a bunch of like wacky, colorful, awesome animals everywhere. Like it's different. It's very different. Whereas, where like a lot of the other ones that have been proposed are just not.
Yeah. Or like what we said last week with Sonic. You don't have to go live action like that. Do CG animation or something. Like Sonic looked like Sonic and looked great in Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, he looks way better.
Yeah, he looks
way better.
Just do that with Sonic characters for the whole movie. And then you would at least have a decent chance, or you'd have a chance of at least being good. Or at least someone liking it.
Someone. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. We will talk more about Detective Pikachu potentially in the future on the Nerds at Large Spoilercast. But until then, check out our Game of Thrones Spoilercast. We only have 2 more. Until the whole thing is done. Crazy.
Yeah, then we won't have Spoilercast for a while. I mean, we'll have Spider-Man.
I know, we've been on the roll. Like, that channel was kind of dead for a while. We had the Red Dead Spoilercast and then nothing for a while. And then now it's been like boom, 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 boom. But this is like the last of our string of movies that we... Oh, no,
Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man Far From Home. That will be the last.
The last 2 months away.
Yeah, that's still a little bit away, though. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Bye.